What's up, everybody? Back with another video. No introduction. I don't even know what happened to my StreamYards. I think I'm actually on the wrong StreamYards account. So yeah, it's gonna be just like a plan. I can't even put a. I don't even know which. I don't even know which StreamYard account I'm using. I got more than one StreamYard account. So it's been a long time. And, here we are. I don't know where the comments at. So shout out to my distant fam. I miss y'all nonetheless on anything. So shout out to my brother Wise. Wake up. That's 1984. That's the thumbnail I got. So shout out to that brother. Always gives me motivation. To come back every now and then. But that's what it is. I just wanted to make a video and just say what's up to everybody in case there was at least one person. Oh man, what the heck? Maple. Man, I need to find my account. Alright. I need to find my StreamYard account, my other one. Because I don't know what this is. But yeah, I hope everybody's doing good. I'm still here. I'm just not making videos or nothing like that. You know, enjoying the life, family. What's good, John Wayne? Oh damn, no audio. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I see the little speaker going. Cool, thank you. So yeah, I don't know if anybody heard what I said, but nonetheless, just doing a quick live stream, man. Miss y'all. I don't miss Truth or Realms. And again, shout out to my brother Wise. Wake up in 1984. Always breathes, breath back into my lungs when I disappear. And you know, so it's kind of a tribute to him. That reason why I'm making a video. But shout out to all the people that wonder where I be at, and wonder where I've been. Just enjoying this life. Obviously, I still pay attention, but not much like I used to. You know, um, doing the other stuff. The law. In those realms. That's where I've been at, be at. So, which is where the true fight is. If you want to wake people up and and you know what's really going on. Study. You got to figure out what nation they're trying to destroy, why they're trying to destroy the nation. Understand what you are as you know as a people. Know how they enslaved you and how you're still enslaved. You know, so that's the real truth that's going on, and the realms I'm in, man. There's a lot of people that are out here fighting, man. You just don't see them because It's a different kind of fight, you know. And shout out to all the auditors who put in that real work, you know. That's where it's all at. It's understanding your position and the position, they got us in. You know, we have a government here. Well, they're not even a government, but we have a group of administrators masquerading as government officials all over this bitch. All over the United States. There's a lot going on in the local Rochester, New York. Just yesterday, somebody tagged me in a post and a letter because they're having Puerto Rican festival here in Rochester this weekend, and they're telling businesses they got to shut down at 4 p.m. You should work with us, businesses. Let me read it. Let me read the you know. Let me know if you can still hear me for the two people that are tuned in. Let me find it real quick. Now I can't. I mean, this is how bad and blatant that the governments all over this country. Okay, are this is how bad they are. How broad and bold they have gotten. But let me read this real quick before my other phone dies. It says, by hand delivery, which right there off the bat, no one's got to pay attention to it. Thanks, John. It says, in preparation to the Puerto Rican festival. Now, this makes no sense, but you know, this is exactly how governments think, man. They think they're some kind of masters and kings, shit like that. All right, it says the city of Rochester is asking you to partner with the city and the good neighbor by closing your business on the afternoon of August 2nd, 2025 at 4 p.m. because we expect crowds to gather along Clinton Avenue on the final day of the Puerto Rican Festival. As in prior years, the city in Rochester expects that following the close of the Puerto Rican Festival on August 2nd, people will gather in the area of Clinton Avenue. Because we expect a significant number of people, the city of Rochester will be taking steps to ensure neighborhood safety and security. Listen to this shit. In order to do so, we're asking that you and other businesses along Clinton Avenue corridor partner with the city. Now, they want to partner with you. They want to partner with you, right? And close by no later than 4 p.m. on August 2nd. This will allow RPD to better service, secure and protect the area to ensure peaceful environment for all of those present. Okay. All right. Secure. Basically lock the area down. All right. So then it says, hold on. In the event businesses chooses not to cooperate, remember, we're their partners. They want you to partner with them. Right? Oh yeah, you be our partner, smiling and shaking hands. Oh, you partner with us. We understand, people want to celebrate, all right. They say cooperate with this request, okay? And stays open. Okay, wait. Sorry, it's blurry on the screen. Hold on 1 second. I'll read it. Okay. This is just wild, right? This is just wild. City Rochester wants you to cooperate and partner, right? Be a partner with the city, good neighbors. We're friends. We're in this together, right? We heard that before. But anyways, in the in the event a business chooses not to cooperate with this request and stays open past 4 p.m., the city of Rochester is prepared to use its powers under the gun violence emergency proclamation to order the closure of any businesses that remain open. Such a closure order comes with the force of law. Like, force of law? Like, wait a minute, what? And a violation of such a closure order is a Class B misdemeanor. It is the city's hope that it will not need to issue any closure orders or make any arrests for the violations of any closure order. That is why we are asking you to partner with the city and voluntarily close your business by 4 p.m. on August 2nd. Sincerely, Patrick Beef. What's good, Angel Z? Now, did y'all just hear that? That is literally, I mean, every single thing is wrong with that. And that's what's wrong with society and government. All right, one, them coming to, I don't care if a cop, this police went around handing this people. I wish it would have been me. I would have told them, no, you take this, take it to whoever gave it to you and tell them to fuck off, be here with SWAT, whatever, because I'll be open and I want y'all to arrest me. I'm all for it. One, this isn't any kind of legal force document ever, whatever. And they're going to use some proclamation, emergency powers to charge you with some shit, which makes no sense because you're having a festival. What sense does this? This shit makes no sense, but this is how they do this all across the country with these fake ass government officials who believe they have all this power when they have no power at all. It's the power that you give up that they have. They don't got no power. That wouldn't have been me in any way, shape, or form. You know? Pretty wild stuff, man. It is really wild what they're doing. And this is, governments is getting to the point where they got to actually, and they will actually break the law. Then the country is officially over. It's over. It's going to come to that point. You know, when they actually start breaking the law. Right now, they're not breaking the laws, all right, because nobody is there to challenge them. All right, you can't, if somebody does something, just like if you're outside and you're watching crime happen and nobody reports it and they get away, well, guess what? It ain't fucking happened. Same thing with these people. If we don't bring the accountability to them in the form of the law, then guess what? It ain't happened. That's how they operate. And it's literally that simple to understand. It's literally that simple to understand. It doesn't get any more easier than that. It doesn't get any more easier than that. As I pass state troopers road pirating somebody. Unbelievable. What's good? Ain't it funny? I was just talking about you yesterday with the videos on the family court. I'm looking at videos on the family court. Yeah, man, just know how to get in touch with me. Just hit me up. I got you. You know, and that's a whole nother ball game. But that's just crazy. Literally insane that they could pass that out and people actually obey. But that's, most people are just that stupid. They're going to close. But, luckily, people got wind of it and I was like, whoa, hold on. And they had a big news conference about this because a lot of people put it up, a lot of stink, including me. People tag me in a lot of different things and, here locally and I voice, my opinions and, what people should do. And, some people take it and run with it, because so the minute I read it, it's not, they're asking, that means that you don't got to do it. There's no court, there's no hearing and there's nothing. They cannot arrest you for that. They can't do anything. But them sending a threat is the mentality that this local government has and many across the country have, which that's not, That's not any way lawful at all. In fact, that's an actual lawsuit. You know, that is a lawsuit and a half. I mean, this is how they operate around here, man. You know, but they do that all across, and like I said, it goes back to the whole, right where I left off, the truth and stuff. It's a waste of fucking time. It's just ridiculous, and we could all see it now. Look at it all. I mean, look at this Epstein guy. I mean, could y'all believe the shit that y'all see it? I mean, literally, it's literally unbelievable. What's happening, what we're witnessing, but we all knew it. We all called it. We all said it. You know, how many times we said it? We've seen the pictures. Okay, they're going to bring it out later. Look, they brought it out. We know all this stuff. Does it take anything? I mean, this is just stuff you just know. We can see. We were blessed with the gift to see. You know, but yeah. I mean, if there is a way out, the only way out is people waking up and understanding that what they used to enslave us, we got to use to unslave us. Simple. That's the law. That's removing ourselves from their bullshit. All right? Separating ourselves from people. If people want to be involved with that, they got a right to. If people want to be in a civil society, let them be in a civil society. I want to be in a civil society too, but as a free person. I don't want to be in their society. I don't need nothing from them. I don't want any of their benefits. I don't want none of that shit. I'm okay over here. I don't need none of that. I'm not asking for your fucking services. When the law comes up, I will use the law. I don't want to use your services that operate in the confines of a legal, administrative, executive position. I want to operate in the confines of the law. And they have put so many different layers on top of the law that half the people don't even understand that. Look, you're not even going. Listen, this ain't even the law. They hit all this, everything down to how they get us. They get you with your pledging your vehicles. Getting a license. All this stuff, and that's it's unfortunate, man. You people don't realize how bad we sign ourselves away. You know, we sign shit without reading it, not realizing we give up our rights. You give up, you just give it up. And again, there's three governments operating right now. Three governments. You have the United States, you have the United States of America, and then you have the United States. The United States International, on the global international, you know, jurisdiction. Then you got United States, which is a federal corporation. All right. And then you have the United States of America, which is actually the country where 95% of the people don't live. All right. All this illegal alien shit and all this other stuff. Guys, they're building prisons to hold people that are not going to play ball. That's all it is. The ICE agents are going to turn on the American people. That's going to happen. 100%. It's going to be El Salvador. They're going to round up people like me, like y'all, try to put us in these places, okay? And then you got enough sheep now who's like, yeah, I just want to be free. That's where they're at with. They're using this political show to see who will accept this stuff. And you already see people don't care that Trump is involved with the Epstein stuff, the whole show. Remember, they were all, yeah, Epstein, Trump's gonna do it, he's gonna do it. And then now that, oh, he might be involved, and they're making it look suspicious and ridiculous. Now they're like, oh well, maybe it is. I mean, literally, they got these people so brainwashed. They're doing that to see if they can rounding up Americans, U.S. citizens. Sorry, not Americans, U.S. citizens. That's what they're doing. It all boils down to them wanting to round up U.S. citizens. That's all the social media shit is for. All this whole truther shit is for. They got us already singled out. Oh, they got us already lumped into a group. They know how many people. They know all this shit. Data. They know. They realize there's a lot of people that ain't playing ball, but they also realize they could sway a lot of people because they use in the Donald Trump and the political spectrum. Because people are like, they don't care. People are full. They've also programmed people to be full of hatred. So if you're the other side, they don't give a fuck what happens to you as long as you're out of the way. They don't care. They're almost to the point where they can say, look, we got to kill Democrats. We got to kill Republicans. Either side will say, I'm all for it. Fuck it. If it's going to make our country better, let's do it. That's where they're at with this. That's what I see. That's why I just fall back and say, shit, ain't there's no point in talking really. And we allow it. You know, we're going to allow that type of shit in here because one, people have lost the way of this country. You know, there was a time in this country where they taught law, you understood law, and you standed on law because that was the whole purpose of self-governing. This government was set up for the people to self-govern. All you gotta do is study. It was good, D, Kimmy. Thanks, guys. Much love to y'all. This country was set up for self-government. If you have studied the law, the Constitution, the Federalist Papers, everything to do on the founders of the writings on this nation, right? This country, it was built for self-governance, right? With the order of the law, common law, okay? With the, stealing isn't right. Damaging other people isn't right. Killing people isn't right. All this other stuff, that's not right. We know that. So therefore, you have the ability to self-govern. Simple and plain and simple. All right? But over the years, they have stripped that from you, sold you services, sold you dreams, and now it turned to where the government was made by the people, okay? To turn into the how does the master become the servant, and then the servant become the master? That's what happened. That's where we're at. They have zero power, but we give it up to them. And it looks stupid when, you know, we look dumb when we're like, oh, why is this happening? Why is that happening? Well, they know they have taught you a different language in school. They already know that. They moved away from Old English, right? They stopped teaching Latin. There was a reason Latin was taught in school, and that was because of the law. Okay? There's a reason why. There's a reason why they moved away from Old English. All right? Simple. They created schools. You volunteered yourself and went to them. There's no law stating you got to go to school. So when you get raised by the same people that want to enslave you, what do you think you're going to perpetuate? The same slave system. You know? The same exact slave system. You know, they got everything in the bag. You're for hauling off illegals, so good. They're going to make one side an enemy and the other side an enemy, and everybody's going to be for hauling them people off. They don't care. I mean, it's just wild, man, to witness all this stuff, man. You know? And the best thing you could ever do, is understand your rights. Understand that you have rights that come from the Creator. Okay? And you are, like everybody else, under the law. You're not under code, statutes, rules, policies, regulations, and all that shit if you're not harming anybody. You're not under that. It's not you. They don't apply to you. That don't apply to you. You know? It doesn't. What's good, fake Mike? It doesn't apply to you, man. Shout out to Make Fake Mike. He's been making videos again. You know? And again, the cops are still, I mean, it's just amazing. All these cop videos out here, and the cops are even more ignorant and do more shit now than they even did before. It's unbelievable. Like there's never a shortage of cops doing fuck shit. There isn't. Cops they're just gonna violate your rights because they're programmed and propagated the same exact way on the opposite side of the spectrum. All right, they believe that they're enforcing the law, and they're not enforcing any fucking thing. You know, they're not enforcing anything. Traffic is like traffic is like it's like a fucking. I mean, this shit is like it's almost like a trial, a death penalty. Like that's how bad traffic is. Like you get stopped by a cop. I mean, it's literally, it's always been, but it's even more now a life or death situation. Okay, when we shouldn't even be playing that game. All right, and that is inching closer, guys. They're going to have to do something very soon because a lot of there has been a new awakening going on, and that new awakening is understanding the law, not understanding, like the law. No, understanding how this shit actually operates, and they are winning. Like they are winning. Like I'm talking not just, you know, they're literally judges saying you can't do that. There's literally training going on now for people who understand the law. For the cop because now these lawsuits are popping in and everything's being recorded and documented, okay? And they're getting cases dismissed right off the back, man, by understanding the process and the procedure of law, okay? And understand where they stand and how to separate themselves from the bullshit, you know? And it's beautiful. That's beautiful to see that. So there's channels out there like those sovereign citizen channels and Van Balen that do all this other. Now they're eating their own. They're running from it. Like phone call. Let me know if y'all can see me, hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me. I got a phone call. All right. So, um, yeah. So people are winning, and it's not. It's like winning a lot, and I'm in this group, and they're literally have grown like it's nobody's business, right? It's just so big now, and so many people are coming along, and it's beautiful to see that people are waking up. Like this, this is the true awakening, because they're understanding themselves, one, and their true power. I could look at somebody in a second right now and be like, yeah, you got a lot of work to do. You're not ready for this game. You're not ready for this. You're not awakened yet. And like a lot of women, I can't believe it. And we've seen this over the years where women are out there protesting, women standing up, women are out there fighting, protesting, voicing their more than the men are. And now I'm seeing that same energy when it comes to this stuff. Like a lot of these women learning this shit and they have just done away, rescinded their license. That shit's out of the system. I mean, people are showing this stuff every day on how they're doing it. And they're literally, when the cops run their information, they can't even find a photo of them. Like they cannot find a photo of them. And then they just, arrest them on fair ID, or they just say, oh, their license is suspended. That's what cops have been told. If they can't find these people's picture in the system, then that means their license is suspended, which is 100% untrue. That means they rescinded their license. They're no longer in the driver's license program. Okay. I mean, it's crazy, man, and it's beautiful to see. I've been waiting a long time to see people take that stand, and they now private plates are becoming more common. They still want to try to float that sovereign citizen now, but now we're entering into a time to where people are educating, just like I did past what year, 2 years ago. on this whole sovereign citizen thing is an actual true. You are the sovereign, okay? They don't want you to know that. You are the sovereign. The state only has sovereignty and immunity because of the people. How can you got to think about this? In the law state this. All right. I've been too busy learning. I don't even got time to make the videos. That's the whole, the whole thing. A lot of the reason I'm enjoying life, and then when I'm not, I'm studying, I'm learning, but it's too much time to make the videos. And I'm sorry, and I know a lot of people do want to know about this stuff, but hey, it's got to come to you. But but you know, the people, right? The plates are becoming more common. All right. Now, when this stuff are coming into these courts, the judge already knows what time it is. A lot of them are dismissing it. They don't want to go to length because people have learned the procedure. That was the whole key. People didn't understand the procedures, the process, all that stuff. Now people have figured it out with the help of AI. So all the people that down AI, I feel sorry for you guys. You guys are getting left out. You guys see AI, you run from it. Look, hey, I was like that too, but I'll tell you, if you're using it as a tool in your life, that shit accelerated everything. Fast forward. It's like how we went from books to the internet. Internet accelerated. Then we went from Google. You can find out all the information researching. Well, guess what? AI is a hyper tool. Okay, you got to train it, learn it, understand it, and you could use it as a very powerful. I'm talking extremely powerful. It's told me shit that I ain't never know, that I had to go look up deep in law books to find the fuck out. It did it in seconds. I'm like, I never heard this. I gotta leave the AI and go to the books to make sure that shit comes back. And you always gotta check things, but it hyperlinks it, and then when you go to the books, you get a greater in-depth knowledge of it. Okay, so don't run away from it. Run away from all the stupid AI shit, like the videos, the stupid shit, making all the dumb shit. Use the tool. All right, use the tool. Be a conspiracy theorist and a truther, and run away from it. Say, oh no, yeah, go ahead, have at it. I ain't in them realms anymore. I don't do all that. All right, whatever they gonna do, they gonna do. All right, you need to prep yourself. This is all prep. All right. Well, I know goddamn well, I get pulled over anything. Shit, it's not going. It ain't that whatever they trying to do ain't gonna be done. If I get any kind of ticket, that shit is I don't even gotta worry about it. I get things in the mail, I respond to them shits, gone, done. Ain't gotta worry about it. You know, don't have to worry about it. Corporations try to flex, you got insurance company credit, they try to send you all. Nope, when you know the law, that shit is all irrelevant. And things come, look, don't talk, no, doesn't work like that. Sorry. Anything you're saying doesn't matter. Show me on paper. You know, I got a complaint on an officer now for trying to kick us out of a parking lot because they said it was, the car show at a mall parking lot. She staged the whole thing, had security because they don't want you here, but she didn't want you here. Now they've got a complaint on her, and I'm gonna sue. We're gonna sue. Three of us are suing the bitch. Got it all on video. She's saying you wouldn't, saying you don't know what kind of power I have. Bitch, you got no power. What are you talking? I'm glad you said that on camera. Nobody cam. She ain't know I was recording. But hey, now you got a nice, good lawsuit over what? Nothing. Ego. And that's how you hold these people accountable. They'll stop all this shit, man. That's why I shout out to all the auditors that do this type of work, you know, that go that extra length. Long Island Audit right now, he's got a lot of shit going on. It is what it is. But hell, that's an interesting ass story. And this is the police, the mentality, and the government and officials, their mentality. You work for us, man. Y'all, that's it. There's nothing else to talk about. Y'all work for us. Y'all have no authority. Zero unless we give it to you through consent. Then, hey, then they hold you to it. You know? They always do it. They always do it. Exactly. I wish I could put that on the stage. I can't put it on the stage. But exactly, Angel, you were totally against it too. But it's super powerful and on point. It definitely fucking, I mean, this shit, it is. If you're using it for a tool, this shit is, That shit can do anything you want it to do and does it right. It's gotten better. I actually pay for a subscription, you know? I actually pay for it. And I fed it information that I don't even there's I had a lawyer's paid for a lawyer subscription for online. I was feeding that shit into the chat GTP and I think that shit retained it because I couldn't recall it on the the chat GTP for whatever the highest one is. It would never recall it, but now it recalls it. Last month it didn't know it. But when I put it over to there to structure it in order where I wanted it, now it's there. Now when I recall it, it's there. And I go on another device and ask it a question that's not related to me, and it knows now. So when you feed it information, that shit knows. And I know, hey, whatever the end game is with AI, it don't matter. Tools to benefit your life. And it helps, man. Anything you need, that shit it'll do it for you. You know? Exactly. 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 Dark, Cushite. People like, oh, I got constitutional rights. No, you don't. Stop saying that dumb shit. You don't have constitutional rights. You have rights, okay? The Constitution protects, is the barrier of them and you. That's why it was written. Plain and clear. All that, gun, how, let's don't come here talking about what they're doing with it. You let them do it. That's your fault. You're doing it, you know? If you actually sat down and read it, none of that shit applies to you when it comes to the Constitution. They can walk around with all these guns and do all this shit. Why can't you? Look into this shit. It'll blow your mind. If a cop could walk and open carry and you're in a non-open carry state, how the fuck can't you do it? You need permission and a permit. When those peoples are public servants, they serve you. How did you allow this shit? Go look at the laws, look at the case law. It don't apply to you. I made a video about how I told you during the George Floyd shit, an illegal immigrant was carrying a handgun, got caught. They said it was his constitutionally right under the Second Amendment to carry the firearm. Why? One, he ain't a U.S. citizen, okay? Two, shit, it's under the Constitution. You got a right to bear arms shall not be infringed. That was a huge wake-up call. Read the case. He's not a U.S. citizen. That shit don't apply to him. Being a U.S. citizen brings you under federal jurisdiction. All right? It ain't that hard. It's actually easy to figure that out. You're a citizen, okay? Don't run from it. You're a whatever you want to call yourself, you're a citizen of a state. You're a state citizen. All right? It is what it is. You domicile in a state. You're not a resident. Don't be a resident, all right? Because you're considered an alien, all right? That's why people don't know. They're gonna deport and remove Americans from society. Why? Because they're alien residents. I've made videos about this shit already. All right? They knew what they were doing long ago. All right, with the Native Americans. This is still the land. There's still treaties in here with the Native Americans. So they knew you were an alien resident already. They kept that on you. You ain't tied to the land. You're tied to the corporation. You're not tied to the land. Okay? You live in their properties. You operate in their entire system. It's pretty crazy. You gotta operate outside and say, look, I'm not doing none of that. Like I go to family court. I'm not asking for your services. I'm here applying the law. Don't put me in your service bullshit. I never gave you no social security number. Okay? I never did none of that. So you guys are using my social security number? You know? They're not supposed to do that. You guys apply the social security number to me and are using that shit. All right? I'm not even using it. But y'all using it? Whoa, if that ain't fraud, people say, oh, there's fraud, they do fraud. No, you don't even know what fraud is. You don't know what fraud is. You're volunteering yourself in that bullshit. You don't know the difference. You're complying. Even if you don't like it, even if it is corrupt to you, you're playing the game. That's how it works. Just simply don't play the game. Fuck it. Don't play the game with them. Simple and plain. And you got to get yourself out of all the legal law shit that they put you in. You know? But that's how it works, man. You know? Federal territory. They got everybody running around getting real ID. Real ID is federal. You're letting them know, like, look, I'm a federal citizen. The real ID, that's why they call it real. Okay? They're trying to lure you in, remove you from state. People are figuring this shit out. They already know people figuring this shit out. All right? When former presidents weren't even US citizens, what does that tell you? Case law, clearly defines state citizenship, federal citizenship, jurisdiction, all that. All right, jurisdiction itself within the United States. Okay, everything is about jurisdiction. They must establish jurisdiction over you some way, shape, or form. All right. Now, crime is different. Criminal law, crime, that's different. I'm not talking about committing crimes and all that other shit. No, no, no. That don't apply, to people who know how to self-govern. All right. If you know how to self-govern, if you do commit a crime, you're gonna be held accountable. And you already know it. That still involves self-government. Back in the days, there's case laws and legal rights where people self-govern. They did shit. Everybody. We're humans, and then they would go. Where do you think turn yourself in comes from? You got a warrant, or you could turn yourself in. What? Look at that! Wow. You can do a warrant, which won't be done in the legal way, but you got an opportunity to turn yourself in, and you probably just get a ticket. Well, guess what, guys? That's a part of common law. You fucked up, so you're turning yourself in for what? To say, look, I fucked up. I'm here to fix what I've done, be responsible and accountable for what I've done. Yeah. It's been in front of our face the entire fucking time, man. You know? What's up, Cuts? It's been in our face the entire time. All right. And I'm at the point where, hey, it doesn't matter if a person doesn't know the law. It's just flat out ignorance. There's really nothing else to talk about. Start learning this shit. What else is there to talk about? Conspiracy theories and what's Trump doing over here and this and that. That shit is dumb. I look back like, damn, that shit is stupid. Now the real research, that's a different story. That's different. I ain't talking about that. Let me make that loud and clear. The shit like making, exposing like real shit that you can look at and say, look at this shit. Like, a lot of shit that's going on in 2020 or like dropping, you know, knowledge and information. That's different. I'm talking about the rat race of conspiracy theory, garbage, nonsense, and getting your high. That's what they wanted, you know, to keep you awake, you know? And it's good to see so many people taking a stand. Everything. People are like, it's amazing, man. People are handling their business, and a lot of lawyers are like, afraid of this shit, because the lawyers are the bar. That's the whole the bar. The bar is that is the lawyers are there to keep the people down below. That's all they're there for, guys, to keep the people down. That's all the bar is. You can look that shit. It does not mean British or credit. That's the CIA crap that they gave you. All right. What it is the bar that keeps you down and them above because they work for them. That's it. They owe a duty to the court. It's a game. All right. You got to stay down. Well, no, there's a good attorney over there. There's good attorneys for good situations, for certain situations like, real estate deals, shit like that. There's good attorneys for stuff like that you don't want to do. You hire an attorney. Look, can you do this? Even if you know the law, you can hire an attorney for certain things, but not when it comes to your own well-being and your own benefit. Okay, no, because you give up your rights. All right. You give up your rights. Plain and simple, simple and plain. You give it up. You know, self governing means you can govern yourself. You could take care of yourself. You know, so yeah, that's all I got though. I mean, I got to get up out of here, man. But again, much love to you guys. And yeah, it was good. Shout out to Wise for kind of. I went on, clicked on YouTube, and I actually seen his channel pop up, but I wasn't even subscribed to it. So I put it here. You could put in YouTube search Wise the Dark City. He's still making videos. So shout out to him and Fake Mike Real News still making videos. Cut still making videos. Every whatever else is going on. I don't really pay attention to the shit, man. I'm on a whole nother wavelength. And it actually is liberating, man. You really learn a lot of stuff. You can handle a lot of things. Help a lot of people out. You know, uh, I've helped people with city council meetings, drafting up shit form letters, helping other people out in some situations. You know, it's just good, 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 good to help, man. But a lot of people are learning, man. That is the new wave and a new awakening. People learning their actual rights with the law. No one is above the law, not even the governments that well, they ain't government, all right? These people masquerading around governments, they're not above the law. They're under it too, because everything that you looked at that is formed under the confines of the law. Okay? They have no power. They have vested power that comes from the people. And if it's not in line or we don't like it, we can get that shit removed. But they have so many people brainwashed, you know? It's a hell of a fight. Do I think it'll ever get to where people realize it? No, I honestly don't. It's kind of too late for that. But enough people will understand it where it'll make waves where, you know what, they're going to have to do away with a lot of things that make no sense to us. This policing with the way they do shit, it's got to stop. You know, it's got to stop. I mean, literally, it's got to stop. That's the number one problem. You know, and these government officials who believe they're officials, they're not officials. They can't just tell you to do this and do that, and you obey and do this and do that. No, it don't work like that. No, you have to do something wrong, right? You have to hurt somebody else. You have to infringe on somebody else. If you ain't, bitch, get the fuck out my face. Simple and plain. Get out of my fucking face. That's it. Self governance and understanding the law is understanding that the true justice is leave me the fuck alone. I just want to be left alone over here. That's it. So, shout out to all you guys, man. Much love to y'all, and I'll talk to you later until the next one.